we're off now on our way. But man, it has been an interesting couple of days. So I took the last 2 days, about 2 days off, which I'm not happy about. I don't think I've I don't think I've ever stopped in a rotation of working out. At least, not willingly. Normally, if something's come up like a doctor's appointment or something like that, which I do have doctor's appointments tomorrow, but I've just been really struggling with I don't know, with the mental side of working out. Like I just haven't been motivated to do it, even though the goals don't change. There's just been a real mental struggle, and I'm not really sure why. But um, I really don't want to be here, but I hate that I already started working out, and I really don't want to. I really hate interrupting that process. So I'm really kind of like forcing myself tonight to get back into the groove, which I cannot believe I fell out of. But we'll talk about that later. But like I said, sometimes you just can't let the mental aspect is, big for some people. Don't have an issue with this, but some people struggle with it. I mean, it's probably why a lot of people end up, failing their, you know, giving up on like New Year's resolutions or whatever it might be. It's just, there's a mental side to this. And, sometimes just pushing through is just as important. Honestly, doing the workout's not as hard as the thought about going over here and doing it. I think is even harder sometimes, which sounds strange to some people who might not understand, but that's the reality of it. So I'm here. I made it. Tired. I don't really want to be here, but I'm going to go in and do it and get it over with, and that'll be that. I'll see you inside. Hello and welcome to Living Petrone. Today we have a new full exercise routine workout video for you. Where we're going to be doing some back, we did some abs, and we did some legs. So I have provided the full workout summary for you, which you would have already seen, but that I always like to put that in there for people so that this way they can actually see the names of the exercises and they have a reference point. You could go in and Google the exercises, maybe see them a little bit better than maybe I would have done them. But, again, work in progress over here. So, but it's there for you should you ever need to reference it. So first exercises, we are doing pull-ups, and then we are supersetting with the one-arm lat pull-down. So I hate pull-ups, number one. I probably have said that before. I really do not like them, but we're going to keep them in. We're going to keep doing them and trying to progress with them. So you can kind of see what I'm doing here is that I started with, we get what we can get, and then we move into using the resistance band for assisted pull-ups. Now, again, I realize that these are not going to look as good. This is the only pull-up bar that I have, and I'm a tall person, unfortunately. I mean, not unfortunately, but because being tall is an advantage at some level. So, but in this case, it's a disadvantage because I can't put my body into really a position that I want to be put in. But this is what I got to work with, so this is what I'm using. So we move into the assisted pull-ups, and then from there, we are supersetting with this one-arm lat pull-down. I've seen this done a couple of different ways. It's up to you how you want to do it. This is how I was doing it. This is how I felt that I connected with the exercise. However, I will say in the future, this has been removed from my program, which you're not going to see for a little while because it takes me so long to edit videos. But again, I did like the exercise. I was really trying to mirror how I do the pull-up so I can, I felt like I was doing an exercise similar to a pull-up that I could have a little bit more control over. Because again, just pull-ups are just naturally hard for me. If I ever lose some more weight, which is what we're trying to do here, then hopefully they should get a lot easier for me. But yeah, this was the first set of exercises. Again, not my favorite. Again, if you are doing stuff that you do, if you have stuff in your routine that you don't necessarily like, but you know that you need to do because there's an advantage to doing some of these exercises, put them in the beginning. That's why I think I've said this before, but this is usually my hard stuff is front loaded. It's the first thing I do. I have the most energy to do it. And that's why I have it there. But yeah, like I said, I've tried to cut down the videos for you guys as best I can, and that's why we're doing split screen. But like I said, this was the rotation how it went. So I hope that improves some of the viewing for people, and it just cuts down the overall time. Doing those pull-ups is not something that I enjoy whatsoever. I'm not that good at them, but I leave them in. I'm still trying to get better at them, still trying to make progress with them, but it's not something I enjoy, and that's why I put it here at the beginning. And then for this one arm pull down, I did, that was on 4 plates, but I do it. I don't enjoy it. Hopefully I can get better at it. Okay, we are into our first ab exercise, and this was a doozy because this looks terrible. I'm watching it right now, right along with you. That's how we do the voiceover. But yeah, I don't know what was going on this day. I think my hip and my back were bothering me. I'm not really sure, but I was definitely struggling with this. I can't, maybe I couldn't remember if I had done it for a while or not. I'm not really even sure, but I know I was struggling with the tension. It was just pulling my body weird. I don't know. I can see that I check here to see like, okay, am I doing, like what's going on? Let me come back to this, see if there's, I was trying to check to see if I had enough strength, like if it was too easy without the weight, which it is. Like for me, without having that resistance band, it's just too easy of an exercise. So yeah, it was just there's problems all around for this one, but that's just how it goes sometimes. I have kind of worked on this, again because when you're seeing videos is behind where I'm actually at in my current workout state. So I've kind of worked on this some and changed things around a little bit with this exercise. I don't do it as much, but yeah, we definitely struggled on this one. But I know it doesn't look pretty, or great, or even really that correct, but I decided to leave it in there so that you can actually see, because this is kind of documenting the struggles between, doing the exercises and not doing the exercises. So you want to be able to see it. Moving into our next exercises, we are going to be doing a superset here. So we are going to be doing the bent over dumbbell row here. And we are going to be supersetting that with the lying leg curls on the hamstring machine. Now I do 4 sets of the back exercise and 3 sets of the leg exercise. So I rotate this exercise. This is usually my second exercise in the back routine. So I rotate this between 3 different exercises. So today's obviously is the row, the one-handed dumbbell row, which I really do like. I'm trying to pull with the elbow. I'm trying to kind of pull back. You really want to try to take the arm out. You just really want to pull with that elbow is what I'm trying to do. And I'm not trying to go straight up. I'm kind of trying to go back a little bit at an angle. So this way I can really engage the lat the best that I can. But this is one of my more enjoyable back exercises. I do like doing this one, way more than pull-ups. And I'd say between this one and doing this where you kind of lay on the bench is the other one that I do. I really like this one the most. So, that's definitely, and I do this with 2 feet on the ground, as you notice, as opposed to where a lot of people only do that with the 1 foot. That's just a recommendation from Athlete X of how he recommends to do it, just because I think he had sustained some injury. I think he actually got a hernia or something like that, because you're talking about kind of moving a lot of weight and the way you're balanced, like you've got like one knee on the bench and one on the floor and you're pulling heavy weight and stuff like that. I guess it did something to him. So he just recommends being in a more balanced position, 2 feet on the ground. And then I don't lose. I've done it both ways. I prefer it with the 2 feet on the ground. This way I don't have to worry about any injury issues or anything like that. But take that for, what, you have to make your own decisions on that one. I choose to do it with both feet on the ground. And then we move into the laying hamstring curls. This is just one of those, I like it because it's on a machine. We've been stuck for a while in this one. So like I said, this is slow progress out of that. And, it is what it is, but I keep doing it and I keep coming back to it. This is what I've got to use. I have added more. I am trying to do some more glute. I think I actually covered all this, but I'm trying to do some more glute work and hamstring work this year. So, because those are really trying to the areas that I'm trying to bring up for myself. But yeah, other than that, very simplistic stuff. Like I said, if you need to see these done or look for, I would look for Athlete X was a good gives a good description of this one. And the laying hamstring curl is just, it is what it is. Now I prefer to do that with just the one leg as opposed to two legs, because for me, this is like a day where, the legs isn't the biggest priority here. We're doing lighter weight exercises, and I prefer to, I think I've said before, is that if I can train something isolated, like one leg at a time, I prefer to do that. I'm not saying that you need to do that every time, because obviously compound movements and stuff are good for you. I just prefer, like, on some of these type of exercises, especially like a machine or something like that, or where you're trying to catch up a body part, like I said, because these are a little bit weaker, there's going to be some imbalances. So I prefer to train them, one at a time. But that's just how I like to do it. You could save time and do both. It's just, it's whatever you want to do. This is how I prefer to do it. I don't really find that it takes me that much extra time, so this is how I like to do it.
All right, but I'm back now. Make you fall back. I keep going back to you. No more. I keep going back to you. No more. You're like a habit. You're like a habit. Back to you. No more. I keep going back to you. You're like a habit. You're like a habit. All the voices in my head getting louder. They told me not to tell you, but they're itching for the powder. Got that blurry vision, seeing double. Yeah, I love you, but you're all trouble. I'd be lying if I said I didn't love it. Carved a couple holes in my heart, so fuck it. And with all the chemicals, whoa, now falling too far, falling too far. I keep going back to you. No more. I keep going back to you. No more. You're like a habit. You're like a habit.
I know you want me. Something in the air. I know you want me. Something in the air.
We are into our second exercise, and I was struggling to find the name of this one. It's some of it I kind of do differently. I have it listed as the resistance band in and out ab exercise. If you just look up in and out ab exercise, you should be able to find this relatively easy, excuse me. But yeah, I like doing it with the resistance band. Also, I'm using the ball above my head again to create, to make this a little bit harder for myself. This has progressed in future exercises where you can see like I'm kind of touching my feet. In the future, I will be keeping the feet in the air. But again, that's just a natural progression of getting better at something. I really do enjoy it with the resistance band. It adds a different level to it. If you're finding that, some of these ab exercises are getting easier for you, you might want to, add a resistance band if you can, hook it to the wall and, give it a try. It just gives it a little bit different of a feel. Again, also using that weighted ball. If I had to choose between one or the other, the resistance band or the ball, I'm choosing the resistance band. I think it's much better than, the weight. But that's just how I feel about it and how it's worked for me. Like I always say, you have to make your own determination on that. But if you have resistance bands, break them out, use them. They're really great tools to have and to use. Okay, so we finished up the pulls. For that, I was doing the 45-pound weight. I started with the 40-pound weight because I wasn't sure which weight to do, but I did the last 3 sets with the 45-pound weight, and in the future I can do that. I should be able to do that just fine. And then we did the machine behind me. We did the hamstring curl machine. Definitely was a little bit weaker than I was last time that I did it, probably due to the time off. So I was a little bit unhappy about that. It's a little bit to be expected, but it's disappointing when you're kind of doing it knowing where you were and then coming back and being a little bit behind where you were, if that makes sense. So I did 3 sets. The first set I did with the 1.5, and then I think at the second set on 11, I switched. And then at the third set, I switched at the 8 rep to dropping the plate. So that's it for those exercises. We are moving on to our next superset of exercises. We are going to be doing a reverse lat pull down, and then we're going to be doing that for 4 sets, and then we will be throwing in the ATG reverse step ups, and we're going to be doing 3 sets of that. Now, I'm looking at this right now. I've already looked at it before, but my form is not that great on this. I need to work on that. But other than that, let's talk about the bar. So I'm using a straight bar here. This will put some stress on your wrists if you're doing it with a straight bar. And for me, that's not good because I already have bad wrists, like everything else of mine, bad. But yeah, so I can see that I'm not really getting as good of a stretch as I want to here, which is part of the issue. Now, if you have one of the easy bar style pull down bar, grab that because that will make this exercise a lot easier on your wrists. As those easy bars, they're definitely invaluable. If you have one at your gym or wherever you're working out, grab it. It's way better than the straight bar. The next thing that I keep talking about that I need to get is some wrist straps, because that will take, when you're doing, a decent amount of reps and sets, and, you add the weight into that, the failure point is going to be your hands. At some point your hands are going to be the failure. It's just inevitable. Even if you're doing, I said, like, if you're doing lighter weight for longer reps, it might become an issue. But again, as the weight, I'm kind of like in the middle ground between a good number of reps and a decent amount of weight. So it's definitely becomes an issue somewhere around the 8 or 9 rep range. For me. So I really got to get on that. But, like I said, I got to get a little bit better on this form here and get a little bit more stretch. Now, the reason why I like this exercise is because you can have a little bit more range of motion. The elbows come back a little bit further, and, you can get a little bit more squeeze, bringing that bar down to your chest when you're doing this exercise. But, as seeing this, we've got some work to improve. Some of them didn't look terrible. I start to, mentally start to think about, making sure I get some better stretch. But yeah, that was my reverse pull down. It's not the best, but like I said, it's something to look at and to work on, and that's what we're here to do. And then these reverse step ups, I didn't plan it that way with the reverse and the reverse exercises. Definitely not planned, but not looking too bad as far as I'm looking at it now. Not really looking that bad. Like I said, this is an exercise that takes time, takes some balance. You're gonna have to you need to work your balance on this one a little bit. Some days I'm better at this than other days, and this also is going to require reasonable ankle flexion, which I do not have in that left leg. I keep saying is not my best. So that's just part of the game. That's just how it goes. So like I said, it's gotten actually better as I've done this more and more. So like I said, I have my off days here and there, and sometimes it doesn't look as good as the time that I did it before, but I definitely feel this working that VMO muscle if I'm doing it correctly. But yeah, I really do like having this in my routine. And again, we're supersetting here to try to save some time while we're doing this exercise, because this isn't, this leg, it's not a heavy exercise. So it's really not, it's not really straining me that much or anything like that. So that's why we've kind of done these supersets that way.
I thought I was doing okay. God, how did I end up this way? Think I'm getting used to this pain, and I only got myself to blame.
For those pull downs, just for reference here, because I rotate exercises around, I was doing 120 with that machine, and then I was failing, so I was dropping the weight back down to the 105. Normally you might be able to use like the little drop down, like the in-between weight, but on this machine it doesn't work right, so it messes the mechanics of it up somehow. It gets really sticky and it's not as smooth. So I know that it's messing up the weight when you use it. So everything that I do on that, with those cable pull downs and stuff, I don't ever use that in between weight because it's broken. So, or it's just, there's something off with it. So it gets all messed up. And then for the step downs I can't remember the name. I'll put it in the description, but same thing, 20 pound dumbbell weight. That's that. On to the next one. Do some abs. Okay, we got the last ab exercise here, these resistance band crunches. These are kind of I don't have a cable machine where I could do this, so I'm using a resistance band. I'm not going to say a lot about it other than that Johnny Shreve, IFBB Pro, Mr. Tell It Like It Is, did a video on this recently, so I will try to remember to link that video in there for you so you can get a really good look about how to do the cable crunches. Again, I'm using a resistance band. For future reference, this is another exercise that I have removed out of my routine. I just didn't really feel like it was providing me enough of what I wanted. And like I said, I don't have that cable machine, and this resistance band, while not terrible, if this is all you've got, just wasn't cutting it for me. So that's why when I've changed kind of workout routines, I decided to eliminate this exercise. That doesn't mean it is necessarily a bad exercise. Like I said, it just wasn't going to work for me in the future here with what I was trying to achieve.
I thought I was doing okay. God, how did I end up this way? Think I'm getting used to this pain, and I only got myself to blame.
So doing this exercise at first, you grab both hands like this, but I tend to like it now. I was just messing with it. You saw me do 5 reps like this. I like it holding either one hand over the other with the band together. Feels a lot smoother. Just a little tip. We have made it to our last set of exercises, so our last superset, that is, where we're doing seated good mornings with the cable machine, and then we are going to be doing straight arm pull downs. You can already see we got the exercise bike going in the corner. This is going to be our 6 minutes of our last thing that we do is this stationary bike. And again, it looks like I'm going slow. I'm really not. It's just that it's more like a hill climb than anything else. It's a higher resistance. So let's first talk about this seated good morning. You can obviously see that I'm sitting on a stepper, and the reason why that is because the bench that I have is very low, or available to me is very low, and the cable machine is in a fixed position. I cannot move that cable up or down. So this kind of presents some challenges with doing this exercise. So that's why I'm trying to raise my body up to try to get myself in a little bit better of an angle with this machine. Now, I've seen this done different ways. I've seen this done more neutrally, like kind of how I'm doing it there in this video, but I've also seen the ATG. They kind of have it set where you can adjust that cable all the way down. Ideally, I think I would like it all the way down as opposed to where I am, but like I said, this is what's available to me, so I'm trying to make it work. You could also do this with a resistance band, which I am considering doing again, because then I could tie that off, you know, at a lower angle and try it that way. I have done it with the resistance band, so that's something I will need to take a peek at. Also, with elevating yourself on this seat, I think this helps kind of get you a little bit more forward and kind of take some pressure off your hips. I think I thought I had overheard that when trying to kind of do some more research about explaining this, but yeah, I mean, this is gonna take time to work on. So, you know, this isn't, it looks okay. I can see some improvements that I need to make, but yeah, like I said, it's going to take some time, because the idea is to do this is you really want to try to get your chest to the bench. But, you know, everybody's in a way different position. Some people are more flexible. It just depends on, you know, where you are with your body and such. So again, it's going to take some time. Then we move into the straight arm pull downs. I'm doing with a rope. I think in the future I'm going to be doing with a straight bar, based on the video that I saw from Johnny Shreve, IFBB Pro, Mr. Tell It Like It Is. If you understand the reference, I watch his videos. I don't necessarily like how he presents some of his stuff, but I do like his content, and I find it very useful. And obviously, he's very successful on YouTube. So that's neither here nor there, but I do think he does give out good information about how to do these things properly. So definitely want to keep those arms straight, and I think I'm going to need to bend over a little bit more, get a little bit more stretch for the lats. So something to work on, like I always say, in the future. So, but it's good to kind of go and see these things and see this real time and see what's going on, and, you know, see how I can make adjustments and try to get better at what I'm doing. But that is going to be it for our workout. Like I said, we got the after workout summary coming up with Cleo joining me. I appreciate you guys being here, and we will see you for the next video. I know that first exercise looks a little bit different than maybe what you're used to seeing, but it is an ATG exercise. That's where I got it from. So I've modified it a little bit to fit this circumstance. I'll talk about it a little bit more in the voiceover, but as far as weight that I was using, I was on the 75-pound plate, and then for the superset, I was using the third plate, which is 45 pounds. So that's it for the back workout. Thank goodness that's over. But I'm glad I made it. So I just got to finish up some cardio, but we're done. All right, so I am back at the house. Cleo is looking at me crazy. Funny story is I just did this whole thing, except I didn't record it. So that kind of sucks because who knows all the insight that I just said if I can remember it to repeat it again. But I will give I'll give the little monster. You want a treat? You want a treat? You want to be on camera? Come here. Ooh, you want a little treat? Yeah, come here, place. Oh, you thought it was in that one? Place. You want to guess which hand it is? You want to guess? Boop. Nothing. Ho 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 ho. There you go. We had a wrong guess. Yeah, you have a little treat. So, gym workouts. What am I doing with my hands? Oh. Anyway, is that good? Yeah. Let's see if I can remember. Let's see what I can remember from what I just talked about. You think I can remember? So, after gym summary, we just finished back. I'm very happy that I went. I was getting into I think I was talking about earlier was, I think I had off about 3 days, which was not planned at all. So I was not very happy about, mentally and personally and about taking that time off because normally once I start a rotation, I don't stop a rotation. So, I got caught in, I don't know what I got caught in, just one of those things where you just don't want to go, and it starts to snowball. So I thought I had 2 doctor's appointments last week, but it's actually today. So, one of them's early this morning, so I'm going to have to fight through some rush hour traffic, and then I have one in the afternoon. So I originally had thought about moving my lifting day so that I wouldn't have to be doing any lifting on the doctor appointment day, so that I could go do what I need to do and not worry about having to come home and then go lift at night or early morning. And plus I was like super sore from the squats and stuff like that. And my body was just sore from coming back. So I was like, okay, like I'll move my one day, no big deal. I'll take a day of rest and then I'll pick it back up. Well, I never ended up picking back up. So, and then it just kind of snowballed into the next day. So, it's one of those things sometimes for me. I struggle with the mental aspect of going to the gym. I don't know why. It's just always been one of those things for me. When I was younger, it wasn't as big of a deal. I struggled more with it as I got older. I can't really pinpoint exactly why. Now, once I'm in the gym, it's not really a big deal. So, it's almost easier being in the gym and doing the workout than actually like mentally, going sometimes. And maybe that could be true for some people. Some people probably don't even think about it. I know for me, the mental aspect is very strong, and maybe for some people, it's just they don't want to pull themselves away from what they were doing. Whether that be taking a nap or doing something on the computer or, whatever it is whatever you're doing, everybody's got, busy lives and stuff like that. So, it just depends. But, I was getting into a funk, and I do not usually, once I'm in my rotation, I do not break out of my rotation. I'm glad I got back, did my workout. I wasn't necessarily as happy with the results because, before we ended for the holiday break, basically, I'll call it, I was in a pretty good spot. And then we come back and, I'm not as strong as I want to be. So it's a little bit frustrating to see that, knowing that, you were one place and then you come back and then you're not in the same place anymore. And, you really can't let that mess with you too much. It's just part of the process. It's not the part of the process that I enjoy, but you just kind of have to, you're going to lay down. You're just going to have to deal with it. There's nothing that you can really, you understand that that's happening and just keep going because, it'll come back, as long as you keep pushing forward, it'll come back. It's just, I guess I just don't enjoy it so much. And maybe that's part of it. Maybe I was a little bit frustrated with that. There's all sorts of things that can play into, what bothers people and stuff like that. I'm not a therapist or anything. I'm just talking about myself here. But, I can tell you, I know some things that have helped that maybe can help some people in the past is definitely, and I'm not a big routine person, but having that routine on a mental aspect, if you're struggling going to the gym, can help. I know that it does help me because it basically starts the process. So like, I do things that when I start my rotation, I start doing things at certain times. I eat at certain times. So, knowing that, okay, I'm going to eat about this, I'm going to have this meal about this time. And then I'm going to have my pre-gym meal. Like once I started to get into that, pre-gym meal and stuff like that, maybe it's getting your stuff together, getting ready, anything that can bring you closer to walking out that door and getting to the gym. I find that very helpful. So pulling yourself away, doing those little small steps to build up to the big step of getting to the gym. So, I have to remember that. I've actually been really good, throughout the past year. I haven't taken, usually once I start a rotation, I think I even said it in a video, usually once I start a rotation, I'm good. But I don't know what happened this time, so I just have to be cognizant of it because for me, I'm one of those people like it's a snowball effect. But usually once I start, I just stay in it. And plus because I try to mentally think about stay in it because the sooner I'll get to my cheat day, because who doesn't love cheat day? If you have a cheat day. I love cheat day. So I try to get to my cheat days, knock this stuff out, get it done, and then, move on. But this time I really struggled. So, mental note, be cognizant of it, stay on the process. And then we'll see what happens in the future. Today will be interesting. Like I said, I got to go to the doctor's appointments, dentist and a doctor's appointment. So hopefully, the one thing I have to get a crown put on one of my teeth. So, hopefully that'll settle, one side of my mouth. Cause I need to get a crown on one side and I just had a root canal on the other. So I'm looking for that process to be all over. So it's probably going to take another month to, finish that process out. But, I'll say it one more time is, I'm happy I went. I'm glad it's done. We got some cardio later tonight, early this morning, and then we will move into a bicep workout. But, that's all I got for this workout. This time it actually recorded. Who knows about the wonderful insights? They're gone into the ether because I never hit the record button. So nothing I can do about it. Cleo laid down. You know how it is. They get their treat and they move on. Of course, they look at me when I say the word treat because, those are like the magic words. Treats, but I don't have any. You ate them. You want to say goodbye? Come here. You want to say goodbye? No? Okay, Cleo doesn't want to get up. She's just going to do her thing. But we're going to go outside, go for a walk, and then I'm going to start getting ready to head out. But that's it for tonight's back workout. I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for joining me.